In 2016, Chinese police arrested a man buying vegetables outside his apartment. A single drop of his blood, tested almost by accident, connected him to 11 murders committed over 14 years, a case that had gone cold for so long, most investigators had given up. This is the Dark Archive. And this is the story of the longest-running serial murder investigation in modern Chinese history, solved not by a confession, but by a database. Baiyin is an industrial mining town in Gansu province, gray, working class, the kind of place where everyone technically knows everyone. Starting in 1988, women began turning up dead in their own homes, always alone, always young. The killer left almost nothing behind. No consistent forced entry, no obvious motive, no pattern investigators could immediately explain. For years, Baiyin's police built one of the largest DNA collection efforts in Chinese history. Testing tens of thousands of male residents against crime scene evidence. Still, nothing matched. The killer wasn't in the system, and it seemed like he never would be. And then, in 2016, one unrelated arrest changed everything, for a crime that had nothing to do with murder. One of the earliest confirmed victims was a young nurse, well-liked at her hospital, known for staying late to help patients who had no one else visiting them. She lived alone, which at the time wasn't seen as unusual. Baiyin was considered safe enough that women didn't think twice about it. Her co-workers were the ones who noticed something was wrong when she didn't show up for a shift. By the time anyone checked on her, the case was already cold before it had a name. For 28 years, cases like hers stayed exactly like this, unsolved, unnamed, forgotten by almost everyone except the families. Here's where this case breaks from almost every serial killer story you've heard. Gao Qingyong wasn't caught through a manhunt, a slip-up, or a survivor. In August 2016, he was arrested for a completely unrelated, minor offense. As routine procedure, police took a DNA sample. That sample sat in a database, and matched a familial DNA search connected to decades-old crime scene evidence. Not his DNA directly at first. His relatives. Investigators traced the familial match backward until they landed on one man, a quiet, unremarkable factory retiree living an ordinary life 2 decades after his last confirmed killing. And when police finally looked at him directly, what unsettled them most wasn't what he'd done, it was how normal he looked doing it. Gao confessed to 11 murders committed between 1988 and 2002. What most coverage of this case skips entirely is the 12-year gap between his last known killing and his arrest, 12 years where he simply stopped, married, held a stable job, and lived without incident. Criminologists still debate why. Some point to increased security and surveillance in Chinese cities during that period. Others believe he simply aged out of the impulse. Either way, the case became a turning point for Chinese law enforcement, proof that familial DNA searching could solve cases decades after investigators had run out of every other option. In 2019, Gao Qingyong was executed after exhausting his appeals. The case remains one of the most cited examples worldwide of familial DNA forensics succeeding where traditional investigation had failed for nearly 3 decades. For the families of his 11 confirmed victims, closure came almost 30 years after their loss, a gap that's almost impossible to imagine living through.